Have you ever wondered what sparked the flames of a cultural revolution that reshaped Europe, laying the groundwork for the modern world? Picture a time when the old ways of thinking were being challenged, when the pursuit of knowledge became a sacred mission, and when humanity itself was redefined. Welcome to the world of Renaissance Humanism, a movement that changed the course of history and still influences our lives today. But what exactly was Renaissance Humanism, and why did it have such a profound impact on the world? Stay with us as we explore the origins, ideals, and lasting legacy of this pivotal period. A new era, the Renaissance, which means rebirth, was more than just a period of artistic and cultural flourishing. It was a time when the very fabric of society was being rewoven. But what ignited this transformation? The answer lies in the revival of classical antiquity, a rediscovery of the literature, philosophy, and art of ancient Greece and Rome. Renaissance humanism, a worldview that emerged during this time, was centered on the study of the humanities, known as Studia Humanitatis. This curriculum included grammar, rhetoric, poetry, history, and moral philosophy, disciplines that were believed to cultivate the best in human nature. But unlike the scholasticism of the Middle Ages, which was often seen as rigid and dogmatic, Renaissance humanism sought to revive the flexible and practical wisdom of the ancients. This intellectual movement first took root in Italy in the 14th century, and soon spread across Western Europe. It was driven by a desire to return to the sources, or ad fontes, of knowledge, bypassing the convoluted interpretations of medieval theology. The Renaissance humanists believed that by studying the original texts of the Bible and classical works, they could purify and renew Christianity and society. But this was not just an academic exercise. Renaissance humanism had a profound impact on the way people thought about themselves and their place in the world. It encouraged a new emphasis on individual potential and the importance of civic engagement. The humanists wanted to create a citizenry capable of eloquent speech and virtuous action, one that could contribute to the betterment of society. The humanist scholars and their vision. Who were the key figures behind this intellectual revolution? Let's delve into the lives of some of the most influential Renaissance humanists. Petrarch, often called the father of humanism, was one of the earliest and most significant figures of the movement. He passionately advocated for the study of ancient texts, believing that the wisdom of the classical world could guide humanity towards moral and intellectual improvement. Petrarch's devotion to the classics inspired many others to follow in his footsteps. Giovanni Boccaccio, a close friend of Petrarch, was another towering figure in the early days of Renaissance humanism. His works, including the Decameron, were celebrated not only for their literary excellence, but also for their exploration of human nature and society. Coluccio Salutati, the Chancellor of Florence, played a crucial role in promoting the humanist ideals. His efforts in collecting and preserving ancient manuscripts helped to fuel the Renaissance's intellectual fire. Salutati also believed that the study of the humanities was essential for the moral development of individuals and the well-being of the state. As the movement gained momentum, it attracted other brilliant minds, such as Poggio Bracciolini, who discovered and preserved many classical texts that had been lost for centuries. His work ensured that the knowledge of the ancient world would continue to influence generations to come. These scholars were not just passive recipients of ancient wisdom, they actively engaged with the texts, interpreting and adapting them to fit the needs of their time. They believed that the moral and civic virtues of the classical world could serve as a guide for contemporary society, helping to create a more just and enlightened world. The spread of humanism across Europe. As Renaissance humanism blossomed in Italy, its influence began to spread across Europe. The invention of the printing press in the 15th century played a crucial role in this process, allowing humanist ideas to reach a wider audience than ever before. In France, the humanist movement found a champion in Guillaume Biud, who applied the methods of Italian humanism to the study of antique coinage and legal history. Biud's work helped to establish the humanities as a vital part of French intellectual life. In England, the impact of Renaissance humanism was perhaps most clearly seen in the works of Thomas More and Erasmus. More's Utopia and Erasmus's In Praise of Folly were deeply influenced by humanist thought, and both works continue to be read and studied to this day. In Germany, the humanist movement became closely associated with the Reformation, as figures like Martin Luther and Philip Melanchthon used humanist methods to challenge the authority of the Catholic Church and promote religious reform. The spread of Renaissance humanism across Europe was not just a matter of intellectual exchange, it was also a social and cultural phenomenon. As humanist ideas took root in different countries, they began to influence everything from education and politics to art and literature. Humanism and the arts. The influence of Renaissance humanism extended far beyond the realm of academia. It also had a profound impact on the arts. Humanist ideals shaped the work of many of the greatest artists of the Renaissance, including Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. These artists were inspired by the humanist emphasis on the dignity and potential of the individual. They sought to capture the beauty and complexity of the human form, creating works that celebrated the power of the human mind and spirit. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, was not only a master painter but also a scientist, engineer, and inventor. His work exemplifies the humanist ideal of the Homo universale, or universal man, who is skilled in multiple disciplines and capable of achieving greatness in all of them. Michelangelo's sculptures, such as the David and the Pietà, are similarly infused with humanist ideals. These works celebrate the beauty and strength of the human body, reflecting the belief that humanity is a reflection of the divine. Raphael's paintings, including his famous School of Athens, are a testament to the humanist love of learning and the pursuit of knowledge. The arts during the Renaissance were not just about aesthetic beauty. They were also a means of expressing humanist ideals and values. Through their work, Renaissance artists helped to shape the way people thought about themselves and their place in the world. The legacy of Renaissance humanism. The impact of Renaissance humanism did not end with the close of the Renaissance period. Its ideals have continued to influence Western thought and culture for centuries. One of the most significant legacies of Renaissance humanism is its emphasis on education and the importance of the humanities. The humanists believed that a well-rounded education, grounded in the study of classical literature and philosophy, was essential for the development of virtuous and capable citizens. This belief laid the groundwork for the modern liberal arts education, which continues to be valued in universities around the world. Renaissance humanism also helped to shape the modern concept of individualism. The humanists' emphasis on the potential of the individual and the importance of self-expression contributed to the development of a more personal and introspective approach to life. This shift in thinking can be seen in the literature, philosophy, and art of the modern era. Moreover, the humanist emphasis on critical thinking and the pursuit of knowledge laid the foundations for the scientific revolution. By encouraging a questioning attitude and a reliance on empirical evidence, the humanists helped to create a cultural environment in which scientific inquiry could flourish. Finally, Renaissance humanism has had a lasting impact on the way we think about ethics and morality. The humanists' focus on virtue and the moral improvement of society continues to resonate in contemporary debates about the role of education, the responsibilities of citizenship, and the nature of justice. As we look back on the Renaissance and the birth of humanism, it's clear that this movement was more than just a return to the classics. It was a revolution in the way people thought about themselves and the world around them. Renaissance humanism reshaped European society, laying the intellectual groundwork for the modern world, and influencing everything from education and politics to art and science. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Renaissance humanism is its belief in the potential of humanity. In a world that often seems divided and uncertain, the humanists' message of hope, reason, and the power of knowledge remains as relevant as ever. So the next time you pick up a book, question an idea, or marvel at a work of art, remember that you are participating in a tradition that stretches back to the Renaissance, a tradition that continues to shape our world and our understanding of what it means to be human. If you found this exploration of Renaissance humanism intriguing, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on how Renaissance humanism has influenced the world we live in today. And as always, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the wonders of history.